How many times have you heard an employer say, I wish I had an employee who was honest, loyal, punctual, creative, and thinks outside the box? Well, to that I say, ask and ye shall receive. Because if a company hires someone with autism, it can actually be good for the workplace. According to a 2011 study, people on the autism spectrum are known to be consistent, honest, and reliable. However, despite these great characteristics, 85% of college graduates that are on the autism spectrum are actually unemployed, which means only 15% of college graduates are actually employed that have autism. And hiring people with autism can actually transform a workplace. That is because they possess attributes that make a good employee, they add to the diversity of a company, and they can have a direct employer impact. Now you may ask, what are some of these attributes that people on the autism spectrum possess that make them such good employees? One attribute that makes people on the autism spectrum good employees is they are honest and loyal. It is a known fact that people with autism have lower turnover rates compared to the general population. And according to OISH, people with autism tend to display strict adherence to rules and detail. And another attribute that people on the autism spectrum possess that makes them such good employees is their punctuality. Johnson indicates that people with autism actually thrive on routine. Because they thrive on routine, people with autism tend to be punctual, more punctual than other people. And the third attribute that makes people on the autism spectrum such good employees is their strong interest in a specific area. When these strong interests are part of their work, it can be exceptionally useful in the workplace. Along with possessing attributes that make them such a good employee, people on the autism spectrum also add diversity to a company. One way they add diversity to a company is their creativity, because individuals with autism tend to think outside the box and can be extremely creative. In fact, this creative thinking can inspire coworkers to do the same. And another way people on the autism spectrum can add diversity to a company is their innovation/different point of view. Osich states that organizations increasingly recognize the importance of diversity to innovations. In fact, this kind of thinking can often solve problems that seem unsolvable, the last piece of the puzzle, if you will. And the third way people on the autism spectrum can add diversity to a company is they open other employees' minds to new thinking. People with autism tend to show strong attention to detail. Osich points out that employee engagement increases because employees can see that their employer cares about diversity. People on the autism spectrum can not only add diversity to the workplace, but they can also bring the employer benefits as well. One way people on the autism spectrum can have a direct employer impact is their increased productivity, for one. Because according to Griffiths, employees with autism produce 48 to 140% more work than their neurological colleagues at JP Morgan Chase Company. And Shine also states that application support employees who are on the autism spectrum were 90% to 140% more productive than other employees with actually zero errors in the first 6 months of their employment. And another way employees have a direct employer impact is possible employee tax benefits. The first tax benefit that people on the autism spectrum can get is the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, which is a tax credit for the employer that ranges from $1,200 to $9,600 for an incentive to hire people with disabilities. And the second tax benefit is the Disabled Access Tax Credit. That is a tax credit for small businesses is that have expenses related to providing workplace access as to employees with disabilities. And the third and final way people on the autism spectrum can have a direct employer impact is increased reliability. People with autism often have exceptional memories, meaning they are less likely to forget something than their coworkers. As you can see from these employer benefits, hiring people with autism just makes good business sense. As I said before, hiring people on the autism spectrum can actually transform a workplace because they possess attributes that make them good employees. They can add diversity to the company that they work for, and they can have a direct employer impact. With the right support in place, hiring people on the autism spectrum can create diversity and fill in the skill gaps in the workplace that other workers just can't fill. So in short, hiring people with autism is a win-win.